Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you haven't seen my first video, my name is Geneva and I make videos on weight loss and dealing with polycystic ovarian syndrome, prediabetes, and hormonal issues or imbalances for women struggling with their weight or symptoms of polycystic ovarian syndrome and how to deal with those. Yeah, my name is Geneva, and I've lost over 140 pounds, and I want to share with you guys my story. And through a lot of trial and error, I have found probably what I believe is the best way to really control the symptoms of polycystic ovarian syndrome, get rid of prediabetes, and honestly get into optimal health mode, feel your best, work your best, and just feel great. So I think, as you can see on the title of this video, that would be a plant-based diet, veganism. So maybe you've seen other videos on this, and that's fantastic. And I want to kind of explain how I'm not biased. I don't think I'm biased when I say that. I think that this is the best diet for these types of issues, and I'll explain to you why. So I'm gonna be as honest as possible throughout this video. So during my weight loss journey, in the beginning, I weighed over 300 pounds. I'm 5'7". So a lot of women who have these hormonal issues, aka maybe you or someone you know, are morbidly obese, and this causes a lot of problems because you're at risk for type 2 diabetes, you're at risk for a heart attack, you're at risk for mental illness, you're at risk for a lot of problems, you're at risk for cancer, you're at risk for heart disease, and the list goes on and on and on. And we really want to avoid all these things, right? So congratulations for following on this video. You're awesome. So now most things that you see online is to exercise and diet, and I think that looks really simple, and it is really simple. It's just, how do you put that together and how do you make that happen? So in the beginning of my weight loss, that's what I did. I dropped my calories really low and I ate a lot of meat, and I ruined my health. I did lose weight, but I ruined my health, and I went through yo-yo phases. I even developed eating disorders by doing that because of all the ambiguity online that there is. A lot of things online will tell you to drop your calories really low. That's the fastest way to lose weight. You're never going to have to worry about dealing with your PCOS symptoms. Don't eat chocolate. Don't eat any carbohydrates at all. And these things are not necessarily true. If you watch my first video, you'll understand what I mean by that. There's two types of carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates you really want to have in your diet, and the simple carbohydrates are what you want to avoid. That's what that video alludes to, and it's important. That's not what this video is necessarily about. I really want to focus on the idea of the plant-based diet. So I ate a lot of meat, and because of that, even though I lost weight, I ended up developing prediabetes even after losing 100 pounds again. And I know that it was the meat because I wasn't consuming any simple sugars, just like the doctors or your doctor probably tells you not to consume, because they say that this spikes your insulin and creates, yeah, exactly. It's high GI foods or foods that are high in sugars will spike your insulin and then make you more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. Well, I wasn't consuming any type of fruit. I wasn't consuming, which by the way aren't that bad for you because they're processed differently in the body. I'll get into that after. I wasn't consuming any processed sugars, but like I said, I was consuming a lot of animal protein because I was working out a lot. So that's mainly what I was doing. And I realized that the saturated fat from the animals was contributing to the insulin spiking that was occurring in my body. So as I just cut that out and decided to only eat plant-based, meaning and whole food plant-based, so this means that I tried to stick to nature as much as possible, not processed foods. Within 2 weeks, I was no longer pre-diabetic, and I was eating a lot of complex carbohydrates, contrary to popular belief, which tells you that this spikes your insulin. It wasn't spiking mine. It, in fact, cured my pre-diabetes. So, sorry. I decided to become vegan after that, shortly after that. Now, in the beginning, the reason I became vegan was for dietary reasons, and that changed shortly after for spiritual reasons. So now I'm an actual vegan, but before it was a plant-based diet. So you're not only helping your own health, you're helping the health of the planet that you're putting your feet on. So it would be worthwhile to do that. But again, that's kind of out of the context that I'm talking about here. I want to really focus on why the meat was causing these issues for me. So in the context of PCOS, prediabetes, and hormonal issues for women, we really want to be careful with what we put in our body. Now, if we're consuming meats in North America at least, they're heavily processed. So factory farms and things of that sort will inject these meats with cruelly with other hormonal substances and other shit that you don't even know. It's a carcinogen, by the way, and that's what you're consuming. So this will affect your own hormones. Also, if you think that you're buying organic meat with that doesn't have any additives inside, well, think again. The animal itself, just like you, contains hormones themselves. So if you're consuming an animal that has their own hormones, that's going to affect your hormones. So all of these kind of come into play, right? So it's going to affect your hormonal, it's going to affect your hormones and create a hormonal imbalance somehow. So that's the main reason we want to avoid animal products when you have a hormonal imbalance as a female or a male. If you're a male dealing with hormonal imbalance of testosterone or androgens, that's something that you want to be cautious about. For optimal health reasons, the saturated fat that animals have can cause, especially the cholesterol, because plants don't contain cholesterol, can cause you to deal with heart disease, which is one of the number one killer in North America, I believe. It's a carcinogen, so it can cause cancer. There's just like a whole host of issues that you can avoid just by removing animal products from the diet. Dairy, something that is heavily processed with hormonal additives inside, and I'm sure this is not new to you. If you haven't already cut out dairy, even your doctor will probably tell you this. Your doctor who isn't even vegan will tell you to cut out dairy because this severely affects your hormones. You'll probably deal with a lot of acne. We even lose the ability to produce the enzyme lactase. This enzyme is the enzyme that helps us process lactose. Yeah. Process lactose in our bodies. Yeah, we lose the ability to do that, to digest that after with age. So the only reason we have this enzyme is because from birth we need this to be able to process our mother's milk, not a cow's milk. Just saying. Yeah, so it's not something that's necessarily natural, in my opinion. And that's why a lot of people end up being lactose intolerant, because they end up losing that enzyme lactase to be able to digest lactose. So that's something to be careful about, because if you can't digest lactose, you're going to be hormonally affected by that, and this can also cause a disruption in your insulin spiking, which can lead to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, acne. If you're dealing with a shit ton of acne, that might be a cause, and so on. So why are plants good? Plants don't contain any saturated fats, really. They don't contain any cholesterol, so they're not going to harm your heart. They're insanely nutrient dense, and they're packed with fiber. It's insoluble fiber, soluble fiber, perfect for your gut. If you're dealing with constipation, you know what your cure is right there. This is going to reduce your cholesterol if you're dealing with cholesterol. This is going to cause a slower release of insulin, so it's going to help with insulin resistance. And this is really, really, really going to help your overall body. You're going to feel a lot more energized because you're going to be feeding your body more healthy carbs, more of what your body really needs to survive throughout the day. You're probably not going to think about food as much because you're going to be eating the proper amount of calories for your body. Instead of thinking, oh my God, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. You don't have to be stressing about what you're eating as much as long as you're eating whole food, plant-based diet. I heavily recommend Dr. Greger. I will link him below. He has a book called How Not to Die, and that's how I started. I came across this book when I was at my ends with, and I actually owe my health to him. I ended up showing my mother this book, and she ended up becoming plant-based herself. And she lost over 100 pounds on a plant-based diet, and she feels great. My mental health has increased significantly. I meditate now. I don't know what it is, if you just kind of lead there, if it kind of leads you to that path. But you just feel incredible on a plant-based diet. You don't have any brain fog, and things of that sort. Also, if it's really difficult for you to transition into a plant-based diet at first, there are everything that you can think about. Literally every meat product you can think about exists in plant-based form. Hamburgers exist plant-based. Cheese exists plant-based. So in the beginning, I did this. In the beginning, if you have to, you can choose to eat those types of foods, even though they're a bit more processed than whole foods. You can choose to eat those ones for the time being, and honestly, you're not going to crave any meat, and those foods are way better for you, and you're still going to lose a shit ton more weight than you would on a meat diet. And then, obviously, make it a point to try and incorporate more whole foods into your diet, because at the same time, it is very important to stick to whole foods, especially if you're dealing with hormonal changes, because a lot of these mock meats or mock cheeses, they do contain a lot of oils and stuff like that, which is something to be wary about with PCOS and prediabetes. However, they're still a lot better for you than actual meats that are injected with hormones. So it's really about choice when it comes to veganism or a plant-based diet, and you can make that choice. It's very simple. Everything you can think about exists plant-based form. It's not that difficult. Just try it out for a month. You're not even going to crave meat. You're going to feel so incredible, and you're going to thank me later, I promise. And you're going to go to your doctor, and your doctor's jaw will drop, like mine did. It's honestly so worth it. So I guess that's my little spiel on why a plant-based diet is really incredible for hormonal people who deal with hormonal issues and PCOS and prediabetes. Also, can I add that if you think that you're going to lack from a lack of protein deficiency or something, that's a load of bullshit. I swear. Sorry, I get distracted because there's this music here. Sorry. It's a load of bullshit because I've never made more gains, what we call gains. I don't know. People say gains. I have more muscle mass now than I did on a meat diet, and I'm not sure if that's because, when I was consuming meat, I wasn't consuming many vegetables or carbohydrates per se. So maybe I don't know if I was lacking nutrients to be able to sustain protein or something. But I eat a lot of protein on a plant-based diet, and you can too. Legumes are an insanely great source of protein as long as you pair it and combine it to create a whole protein. What I mean by that is legumes with quinoa would create a complete protein, rice and beans that create a whole protein. I will probably make a video on that type of stuff in the near future, but it's important to note. You'll feel incredible. You'll feel way more full because of the amount of fiber in these types of foods than meats, because meats don't even contain any fiber. So yeah, it's just try it. Try it for a month. I'm going to link Gregor's book, Dr. Gregor's book, down below. And it's just honestly so worth it. So anyway, peace out. I hope this video suits you well, and congrats on trying to make a change in your life. And I'm sending you positive vibes on your journey, and you can do this. You got this. I know you do, because if I got it and I did it, you can too. Believe me. Anybody can. So you got this. Just believe in yourself. That's another thing. You gotta believe in yourself.